Hello, welcome back to the channel Awesome Learning. The next topic we will be doing today is Kingdom Protesta. In the previous video, we had discussed about the Kingdom Monera. So I told you that Protista is the second kingdom where all the unicellular but eukaryotic organisms are included. Unicellular and eukaryotic organisms. Okay, so it includes single-celled, I told you, eukaryotes, well-defined nucleus. Why? Because they are eukaryotes, so the nucleus is well-defined and all the membrane-bound organelles are present. So they are a bit complex than the organisms which are present in the kingdom Monera. Some of them may have flagella or cilia, right? So let's move on. Kingdom Protista. Protestas are primarily aquatic. Basically, they are aquatic. They could be freshwater organisms, they could be marine water organisms. It depends. It is a link with plants and animals and fungi, of course. This is a link between the plants, animals, and fungi. And reproduction, they reproduce sexually or asexually. Both the modes of reproduction are seen in Protista. Next, classification. Now, Protista are classified into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. So, we will be discussing one by one. Chrysophytes, as you see here, found in fresh water, that is river water, pond water. You know what is the difference between fresh water and marine water? The water which are present in the sea and oceans are called marine water because it is salty, and the fresh water is the water present in the river, lakes, ponds. These are the fresh water. So basically they are found in freshwater and marine environments both. They are microscopic, that is not visible to naked eyes, and they float passively, that is they do not use any energy for floating. They float due to the water currents. Jahan water ka current le jaye, they will float with that. They will not use or spend some kind of energy for moving. The examples are planktons. Most of them are photosynthetic. Now, because they are plants, they are photosynthetic. It includes diatoms and golden algae, which are also called desmids. Okay, these are the diatoms. This is the golden algae, right? Now, cryophytes, as you see, chrysophytes rather, these are siliceous cell walls. That is, the cell wall is made up of silicon. Okay, forming two thin overlapping shells. जैसे आपका सोप का बॉक्स होता है ना, साबुन की डब्बी, तो वन लेयर, वन बेस जो होता है जिसमें आप साबुन रखते हो, और उसके ऊपर का जो ढक्कन होता है वो ओवरलैपिंग होता है. दिस इज हाउ इट हैपन, मतलब ये इसको फिक्स कर लेता है. ठीक है. सो सिमिलरली द सेल वॉल्स आर मेड अप ऑफ सिलिकॉन एंड दे आर ओवरलैपिंग शेल्स which fit together in as the soap box. Diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans, right? Producers because they are photosynthetic in nature. You see, they are siliceous cell walls, I told you, and they are chief producers. The cell wall deposits of diatoms over billions of years in the habitat is known as diatomish earth. Now, these diatoms, when they die, ओके जब ये डायटम्स मरते हैं तो इनके जो शेल्स हैं वो वहीं सी बेड पे इकट्ठे होते जाते हैं तो कई सालों से बिलियन ऑफ ईयर्स से जो ये शेल्स की लेयर सी बेड में इकट्ठी हो रही है so that has formed earth called diatomaceous earth, and this layer or this earth, diatomaceous earth, as you see here in the figure, is used for polishing, for filtration of oils and syrups. देखो diatomic earth, how they have shown you, they are actually used for this mud. You can say mud क्यों नहीं बोल सकते, क्योंकि they are actually not soil but they are actually the aggregation or gathering of shells शेल जो इकट्ठा हो के नीचे सी बेड पे जमा होते गए, तो वो एक लेयर बन गई। वो जो अर्थ बनी है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डायटोमीशियस अर्थ, विच इज यूज्ड फॉर पॉलिशिंग, फॉर फिल्ट्रेशन ऑफ ऑयल्स एंड syrups. Then we come to dinoflagellates, mostly marine and photosynthetic. Again, I told you mostly marine, that is, they are basically found in seawater or ocean water. And again, they are photosynthetic, they will produce food. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue, or red depending on the main pigments in this cell. Cell wall has stiff cellulosic plate on the outer surface. You see the diagrams. Cell wall is made up of cellulosic plates on the outermost surface. Then most of them have two flagella. One lies longitudinally, okay, and the other transversely. So there are two flagellas, as you see. Let me show you. This is the transverse flagella, as you see here. This is the transverse flagella, okay, and this one is the longitudinal flagella here. This one is the longitudinal flagella. तो why two flagellas? कि किसी भी direction में अगर move करना है तो these flagellas will help. अगर नीचे की तरफ इस तरफ जाना है तो longitudinal flagella का use होगा, अगर इधर move करना है तो transverse flagella will be used. Okay. Red dinoflagellates example are gonailochs, undergo rapid multiplication, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़्यादा multiply करते हैं, they multiply rapidly, very fast. So their number increases very fast, and because of this rapid multiplication, we have a sea named for this, a sea which is called Red Sea, because we can see red tides. Okay, why do we see red tides? Because this type of dinoflagellate actually multiplies rapidly और पूरी layer जो है वो sea के ऊपर दिखाई देती है, जिसकी वजह से the color of the sea appears to be red, and hence we call it as Red Sea. They release toxins, of course, not good, and they kill marine animals like fishes. They are harmful for marine animals. Then we come to euglenoids, mainly freshwater. Now, this is a freshwater organism and basically found in stagnant water. Stagnant means standing water, like the water of pond, the water of lake, which is not flowing. Now, river is always flowing. So, river में जो पानी है वो खड़ा नहीं होता. लेकिन stagnant water is the water which does not flows. वो एक ही जगह पे खड़ा रहता है. Okay, instead of cell wall, they have a protein. Now, cell wall is made up of actually cellulose, but here the cell wall is not made up of cellulose. The cell wall is made up of protein-rich layer called pellicle. So this gives flexibility to the body, because cell wall, you have read it in class 8 also, that cell wall is very rigid. So it is not flexible. But here the cell wall is not made up of cellulose. It is made up of a protein layer called pellicle, and hence it is flexible. They have two flagellas again. One is short and the other one is long. This one is the long flagella, and this one is the short one. Okay, two flagellas, euglenoids. They are photosynthetic in presence of light. Now, if the sunlight is present, they will do photosynthesis. But if the sunlight is not there, then they will behave as heterotrophs by predating on other organisms. Now you see, they can survive in all the conditions. If sunlight is present, they will do photosynthesis. If sunlight is not present, they will predate, that is, they will hunt on other organisms. The pigments are identical to those of higher plants. Okay, that is the chlorophyll A. I'm talking about the chlorophyll pigment. So the which higher plants have chlorophyll A and B. So the same pigments are present here. Example is Euglena. Okay. Come to slime molds. Of course, they are saprophytic protist. That is, they depend on dead and decaying organic matter. So they are saprophytic protist. The body moves along the decaying twigs which are dying out, and the leaves, and engulf the organic material. They will take all the organic material from dead and decaying plants. Under the suitable conditions, they form an aggregation. That is, see, इकट्ठे हो जाते, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, and it may spread over several feet, as you see here in the diagram. Okay. Then Under favorable conditions, Plasmodium differentiates into to form fruiting bodies and which will bear spores at their tip. As you see here, fruiting body containing the spores. Okay. If the conditions are unfavorable, if the conditions are not good, then what will they have? They will have, these are the fruiting bodies, and these fruiting bodies will have spores inside them. Spores have true walls. They are highly resistant and survive for many years. These spores can survive for many years. Why can they survive for many years? Why? Because they have true walls. These walls will help them to survive the unfavorable conditions. And wherever they are dropped off, wherever they are dispersed by air currents or by through any other means, they will fall. And if they get favorable conditions, that spore will germinate again and it will form the new organism. Okay, then we come to protozoans. Now we have talked about protozoa long back in your junior classes. They are heterotrophs, that is, they may be predators or they may be parasites. They have four primitive relatives of animals, are four groups of protozoa: amoeboid protozoans, where we always talk about amoeba, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, and sporozoans. Okay. So amoeboid protozoa, we have spoken about amoeba long back in your junior classes, live in fresh water or seawater or moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting the pseudopodia, that is the false feet. You know how does an amoeba moves and how does the amoeba captures its prey by the help of pseudopodia. Marine forms have silica shells. The shells are made up of silica on their surfaces, and some of the parasites are entomobia examples. The which entomobia histolica is a parasite which causes disease. Okay. Then flagellated protozoans, free living or parasitic, that is, they could be free living, independently living, or they could live on some other host organism. They have flagella and they may cause diseases like sleeping sickness, example trypanosoma. Now trypanosoma is the name of the organism and the disease which it causes is called sleeping sickness, trypanosoma. Okay. स्लीपिंग सिकनेस, ऑफ कोर्स द पर्सन विल स्लीप, बहुत ज्यादा नींद आती है, नोजिया फीलिंग आती है, दैट इज व्हाट happens here. Then ciliated protozoa, aquatic, again, that is water dwelling, actively moving because it has cilia all around. You can see this is all cilia all around the body. Okay, they have a cavity here. They have a cavity or a gullet. Let me show you the cavity here. Yeah, this is the gullet, you see. Okay, that opens to the outside. Due to the movement of cilia, water with food will enter. As the water moves, the water will enter the body, and along with that water, food will also enter the body into the gullet. Example is paramecium. Then sporozoans. Again, they have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. Example, Plasmodium. Now, you will be prepared. We will be studying the full life cycle of Plasmodium, in that is malarial parasite, in class 12, which is a very important topic there. It causes malaria, of course. This is the protozoa, the Plasmodium, which is the actual cause of malaria, but this is carried by mosquito. So mosquito is only a carrier, but the causative organism of malaria is Plasmodium. Okay. So this is all about protozoa.